Herbert Hoover is the only man can keep our country free.
Well, here we are at the Herbert Hoover Presidential Library Museum. However, it is more than likely closed. Hours are 9 a.m. to 5 p.m. daily. So, they are closed. I'm trying to find where his grave is, though. Alright, here is a map of this place. We are right here. There's the parking, so if we go all the way down here, there's where his gravesite would be. Here are these locusts that are carrying on. Definitely would like to come back here when it's open, but we're going to check to see a couple things while we're here. We're definitely going to the grave real quick. Beside the Presidential Museum, there's this goddess of life, Isis. Very interesting. I've never seen that before in my life. So this is the library and museums over there. Here it tells a little more about it. The statue of Isis, Egyptian goddess of life, symbolizes Herbert Hoover's humanitarian efforts. Belgians gave Hoover the bronze statue to thank him for his help in staving off famine in their country in World War I. Here's what the property used to look like. Maybe. Here, this is a meeting house with Quakers. This religious society of Friends, or Quakers, practice principles of simplicity, honesty, equality, peace, and service to others. These values shaped young Hoover's character and were evident in his humanitarian endeavors and interest in public service. Pretty nice town. I'm not sure. Alright, so this is a lot bigger than I thought it was going to be. Herbert Hoover, I tell you what, they really like you here. From Downey Street to Pennsylvania Avenue, Herbert Clark Hoover was born August 10th, 1874 in this two-room cottage right over there. He spent his early boyhood years on the edge of the village, surrounded by farmlands. His parents, relatives, and many neighbors were Quakers. Their daily lives were centered around the faith's beliefs. Herbert's mother, Hulda, tended to him and his siblings, Theodore and Mary. She served as a recorded minister to the Quaker meetings. Jesse, a devoted father, worked hard as a blacksmith and a businessman. Together, they played a major role in forming the character of the boy who would become the 31st president. Here's Downey Street. Birthplace Cottage. So let's walk back a little bit in history here in West Branch, Iowa, because, you know, why we're here is because of the birthplace of Herbert Hoover. But I want to see what else this little town has to offer up on these little boardwalks. Of course, we've walked over there. Now we're going to go to the right. See what all this is. The cicadas are going nuts. Ah, I love it. Look at them. They're just trying to mate. Another 17 years or whatever, they'll be back.
There's the outhouse.
Oh yeah. Another outhouse coming up. Right there. Herbert Hoover's outhouse. Nope. Nope, can't see anything inside. There's the blacksmith. Jesse Hoover's blacksmith shop right here. Here's a good old picture of Jesse Hoover. There's Herbert Hoover's dad right there, Jesse. Right here is where the Hoovers believed strongly in educating both boys and girls. West Branch population was large enough to build this one-room schoolhouse because the Quakers had raised much of the funds. They also used it for their first meeting house. Herbert Hoover started school in 1879 at age 5, but it's not known if he attended classes in this building, even though his father and brother had. Orphaned at age 9, Herbert moved 2 years later to an uncle's home in Oregon, where he studied at a Quaker academy before joining the Stanford University class of 1891. Hoover, right there. Looks like it's the stables there. It's almost like walking back in time with Gypsy Lynn. They're all going to laugh at you.
They're going to laugh at you. So is it fears for the people that live here, or against the people that live here? I know I'm going to laugh.
I don't want to say too much. I love hearing the cicadas. Right here is where people would get on that top post and start talking. I imagine either that or the carriage would come up here and you would walk. I'm not sure because of the horse right there. Superintendent's office is right there. Gypsy Lynn just advised. Good eye, Gypsy Lynn. Right here's the Garvin house. Amanda Garvin was a single and 35 when she bought this lot for 90 bucks. 90 bucks for all this. She was renting the house in 1878 but lost it in foreclosure in 1885. With its gingerbread trim and ornamental arches, the cottage is a wonderful example of Carpenter Gothic architecture. So let's look downtown West Branch here. I don't know if this is the historic section. It's a cute little town. Iowa Territory, 1846 statehood. This is West Branch, Iowa. Nice little town. Nice little town. Right here is the Laban Miles house. This house was the home of Herbert Hoover's aunt and uncle Agnes and Laban Miles before they moved in 1878 to the Oklahoma Territory. Laban served as an agent on the Osage and Kaw Indian Reservation. Hoover, at age 8, stayed with them for several months after his father died. This home here is the Leach House. Dr. Lewis J. Leach built and moved into this house in 1920. Before that, he hosted ice cream socials and 4th of July parties in the lot. When Dr. Leach died in 1937 at age 91, President Hoover praised his long life of usefulness to his neighbors and friends. This is the Varney house. Hannah Varney built this house in 1899. She divorced her husband, then lived here with her 6 children less than a year. They then moved to Iowa City, left this house to her daughters, Cora and Clara. They lived here until about 1915. President Herbert Hoover died in New York City on October 20th, 1964, at the age of 90. 5 days later, his body was interned here, looking at the birthplace and presidential library, a symbolic vista of his journey from birth to death. The remains of Lou Henry Hoover, who died January 7, 1944, were removed from California and placed beside her husband. Their son Alan selected the gravesite. Iowa architect William Wagner designed the memorial in collaboration with the Hoover family and William Anderson of the Hoover Birthplace Society. So let's go up here and pay our respects to the President of the United States of America, Herbert Hoover. Well, here he lies with his wife. Herbert Hoover, 1874 to 1964. Lou Henry Hoover, 1874 to 1944. This is some pretty property. Herbert Hoover. Thank you for being our president, Mr. Hoover. Goodbye, Mr. Hoover and Mrs. Hoover.
I don't think it likes the sun. It wants to be.
We all remember Hoover, how he helped us in the war. He helped us beat the Kaiser, now he'll give us 4 years more.